Solving equations, lesson C notes using reciprocals. Instead of dividing by a non-zero number, you can multiply by the reciprocal of the number. First of all, let's talk about what is the reciprocal. Well, when you were learning about fractions, you should have learned that you cannot divide by a fraction. Instead of dividing by a fraction, you have to multiply by the reciprocal. For instance, if I was taking 1/3 and dividing it by 2/3, I can't actually divide. Instead, I take this fraction and I flip it. So the new problem would be 1/3 times, flip that, and it would become 3/2. And then you would multiply. So you can't divide by fractions, you have to multiply by the reciprocal. Again, the reciprocal is taking a fraction and flipping it. So if you look at the first fraction here, the 4/5, the reciprocal would be 5/4. 3/16. If I flip that, the reciprocal would be 16/3. The reciprocal of 1/4 would be 4/1, which when you have 1 on the bottom, you can reduce that to just 4. And then the last one, anytime you have a whole number, to make a whole number fraction, you put it over 1. So the reciprocal of 2, which then is 2/1, would be 1/2. So again, the reciprocal is taking a fraction and flipping it. Well, I'm going to show you using this equation here and this equation here that multiplying by reciprocal and dividing are the same thing. If I divide by a number or multiply by the reciprocal, it's the same thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the traditional way. Pause your video and go ahead and write down 3x equals 9, just like I did. Okay, so the traditional way, this is multiplication. The inverse operation to multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3. When I divide both sides by 3, the 3's cancel. Bring down the variable, the equal sign, and 9 divided by 3 is 3. So the solution to this equation is 3. Now I'm going to show you the same thing, but instead of dividing by 3, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. Instead of dividing by 3, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my 3/1. And now I take the reciprocal of 3/1, and I get 1/3. So instead of dividing, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. Multiply both sides by 1/3. And if you want, you could put this 9/1 as well. So this would cancel, and this would cancel, leaving just x. And then, if I take, actually I'm going to write this a little bit higher. If I take the top times the top, 9 times 1 is 9. Bottom times the bottom, 1 times 3 is 3. Divide that out, 9 divided by 3 is 3. So, did I get the same thing? Yes. Was the first way easier? 100%. This is much quicker. And if your problem doesn't contain a fraction, that's exactly how you should do it. But if you have a multiplication problem that does contain a fraction, then you're going to have to use the reciprocal. And I will be doing more problems like that in example number 6. If you have any questions on how to find the reciprocal, let me know.